Okay, so this is an exercise which we're going to be focusing on the location points of different rectangle, circle, and line based drawings. As you can see from the drawing on the screen, we have 4 elements we are going to be drawing. We have 4 lines which have a offset of 5mm with a length of 50, and these lines are located all the way up here, and they have a start location of 15 by 150. And we have a section to the right of that, which is more like 2 rectangles that has a location point of 175, 100. Then we have 2 circle elements using the CI, which is a circle command. One has an array of circles around a fixed center point with a construction element, and the other one is just a simple 25mm diameter at set locations. As you can see from the drawing, rather than running everything from 0, 0 and doing coordinates out, I've just put locations on leader lines to help the user develop the start points. So this particular drawing, maybe you have 4 different sort of 0 points, which I've kept the same. I've never changed where they sit on the location to 0, but they just help you with moving forward. So the first part is, I'm going to break this drawing down. So the first part is I'm going to focus on the big outer rectangle. Now the outer rectangle will start this point right down the left hand side, and that is going to be my 0, 0 point, and it's going to terminate. It's going to have a second section all the way up the top right. That's going to be 250 by 160. I'm going to physically put that in, so you can see right at the top here. So I'm going to go from this point down here, draw all the way up to this point here. That's going to be the starting element of my drawing. So I've already preloaded a AutoCAD, and I'm working in 2021, but this will work on versions older and down to 2019. So I'm going to go back to start a drawing. So yours might look similar here, where you have a big start button or your templates. You click that one, it will load up a new drawing, which I've already preloaded within the system. So what I've done within the system is I've used the tools, and I've found my X and Y, which is 0, highlighted with the green line as Y, X is red, and then this is my X and Y point where the square is, which is my 0, 0. I've also pre-made some templates like drawing template, construction, centers, dimensions, some hidden detail, and some other points which I can help with drawing as well. So I've already preloaded in layers. So what I'm going to do is, thinking about back to the drawing, I'm going from 0, 0 out to 250 by 160. So I need to start with the rectangle. So what I'm going to do is going to type in rec, which is the shorthand command. So it's the command for rectangle. Hit enter to confirm. I'm going to type in then 0, which is going to lock in my X direction. I need comma to load up the Y direction, which is also going to be 0. I'm going to hit enter. Now I'm not going to touch the mouse at all. I'm just simply typing my next set of coordinates. That's 250, comma 160, and just hit enter to confirm, and that will drive my shape. So I'm just going to pan and zoom in just to make my working area as big as what I can see. And now I'm going to focus on the first element. So I'm actually going to start from this set position here. So I'm going to be working on 175 by 100. Now just remember that 175 is X, 100 is Y. So I'm going to drive that start position, and I'm going to drive the line up, across, down, back across, up, and then conclude the shape. So the commands for this, you can either use the line command, okay, or would recommend playing with the polyline. They both operate the same way, but it just helps you with driving. What's the difference between line and polyline? The line will be 4, 5, 6 individual lines, as the polyline would then make a continuous shape. So we're going to go through and start with that activity there. So on my set location, I'm going to do the line first, so L for line. And my first coordinate is going to be my 175 by 100. And I'm actually going to I've actually already pre-locked my orthographic, which is down here, so it only snaps in 90-degree segments, or F8 if you have a function keyboard. So I'm going to just push that one up on my mouse, type in 25. That'd be my first locked in element here. Next, you'll see we've got a drive across to the right hand side, 45. So I'm going to move my mouse to the right, type in 45, lock that piece in there. I'm going to pull my mouse, 55, push my mouse to the left, 20, and then push my mouse upwards, making sure I don't hit any snaps. I'm not clicking either, I'm just literally moving the mouse. Enter for 30, and then last one I'm going to try and find my snap, which is this green box here, and I'm going to click to confirm, and then pull away, and hit the escape button. So then that completes my shape as 6 lines. If you don't have the snap lives down here. So this is the F3 or O snap, and also if you click on the arrow, you get the chart of different snaps, and you can turn these on and off depending on what you need. And best case is only have what you need at that specific time. So each line I can pick up, because it's made with the line tool, each line I can pick up as independent lines and move them as independent as well as treat them. The other way is you can actually, if I do this process again, I'm going to delete this off and use the polyline tool here. So PL will give you polyline. And again, I'm going to repeat the process, 175 by 100. And again, I'm going to move it up 25, across 45, pulling down 55, pushing back across 20, up, making sure I don't have any snaps, which will be visible by green, 30, and then over to end my shape, click, and then enter or escape to close the command. This time I'm going to highlight over, this is now one continuous shape, so whatever line I click on, I get a fully shape. So that's the difference between doing this. I have a line tool, which will give you 6 individual lines, or a polyline, which will group and create a physical shape. So next I'm going to focus on actually moving across now, and I'm going to go to the lines in this section here, and the command this time is going to be 15 by 150, so 15x, which will give you this start location up here. So again, this is just me using the line tool this time. 15, 150, enter. And again, I've still got my axis locked in 90-degree segments. It's going to pull down 50 for the length, enter to confirm, and escape to cancel the command. So that's my first one. You'll notice that actually we have an offset here of 5. So I'm going to offset this tool. So offset lives here, or O is the command. If you type it in, I want 5 mil of offset, which is my distance, and I click once, move my mouse to the right, click, reselection box comes up, click again, move over, click, one final time, click. So that says using the offset command here as well. So that one's using the offset tool. You could actually use an array if you also wanted to. So if we go back, we could come into the arrays. You could think about doing a rectangular array where you actually take a line, enter your line into the object, and then a command bar will come up. So if you know you needed 4, you want 1 column, you need to put the remaining 3 in, distance between, so you need 5. Total, then you can go down the same road and you can output. So it's another way you could do the same shape as well. So going to escape that or undo, just to go back to my 4 lines. So how we would do it, rather than using the same one again as a reference piece, I'm just going to draw another line 15 mil away. Just move that slightly further down so it's clear. So click on this one, rectangular array, and so I would like 4 columns, I like 1 row. So enter that into the system first. That'll give you the parts. The distance between on the rows, or distance between here. So I want 5 mil. And it'll also do exactly the same for you as well. So it's count 4 rows, 4 columns, 5 between, 15 in total. Tick that one off. So that's also another way. Slightly longer than a offset, but you can use the same process as well. So I'm just going to delete the array now because I don't need it anymore. So that's that element done. The next element I'm going to work on is either circle really, but I'm going to go for this location now, so 40-40. And on that 40-40, the first element I'm going to put is an R5 to build the center point. So in my model, I'm going to do CI, which will load up the circle command. And I'm going to type 40, 40. I'm going to type 5 in for radius. That's going to be my first location. Spacebar to repeat the command. 40, 40 again. This time then, I'm going to put a radius of 20 in, which is going to form this. You kind of can't see it very well, but there's a ring around here which intersects all of the arrays, which is done at R20. That's what I've just done here. So it's kind of a construction element. So what I'm going to do is click on it, drop down my construction layer, so I know that it's a constructional element of the drawing. It doesn't need to be there once we've made the rest of the shape. So next, I'm going to focus on drawing the very top ring. So it's this ring here, which I'll put for your screens in blue. And this intersects right at the top of the circle. So I'm going to need to use the quadrant on my snap. So when I come onto my snaps down here, to make sure quadrant is ticked, means it's active. Same process again, CI. This time I'm going to use my mouse to select the point. So I'm going to latch onto that quadrant section. It goes green. Click. Move the mouse away. Now it's a 7.5 mil radius. Enter that into the system. Now I'm going to use the array tool again, but this time I'm going to use the polar array. Select which object I want to array. So this one goes blue, hit enter. Going to pick the center point, or I know it, so it's 40, 40. Enter. And then what it does, it loads the bar up. So the default for this one is where that is 6. Okay, which I could do. I could actually put in if I wanted 4. I can change the items. It would put the number that I need in. I could put 8 in. as well. Put 8 in, and it put 8 boxes as well. So it'll do whatever you want. I mean, you could put, if you really wanted to, you could tell and say I need 20. Make a bit of a fan kind of profile. Click off. And it'll make lots of little circles, but I'm happy with 6 in this instance here. Around the fringe and 60-degree mark. I hit OK. That's then created that shape there. If you need to edit though this, remember that because it is an array, you've got to use the explode button, which is here, or EX on the short command, and that will break the components like what the image shows you on the screen now. It'll break it up into smaller segments so you can do easier trims or blocks. Polylines are another one. It'll break it into its individual segments, which means you can modify and edit or add on other components like lines, circles, radiuses a lot easier. So the last thing to do is we've got a little circle here. So this section now, which is all around location 150. So that's going to be my point now where I'm going to go to circle. Type in the command 100,50. Enter. Now if you go back, you'll notice that this time round we have a bit of pink, a diameter of 25 rather than a single radius. So what we're going to do on here is I put the coordinates in. You'll notice down the bottom it's asking for D for diameter, so you can put D into the command bar. I'm going to change that, put 25 in, and enter. What you can also do, if you do the circle tool, I'm just going to move this to 150,50, move it slightly further along. You could actually put 25 in here, and that'd be as a radius. If you end up doing that by mistake, you could always click on it, right click on the object, go to properties. This brings up the properties bar. And what you could actually do is in turn say, oh, okay, I needed 25 here. Override the system. And then close the bar to accept. You could also do it that way if needed. So that's a mirror image now of my annotated sketch. I've got my big rectangle, the broken down lines. I've got the two rectangles together as a shape. I've got a 25 diameter and I've got my array element. So what you could do now is just go around. You could use the line tool on the annotation bar. You could come around and check that you are exactly where you say you should be just by clicking on the snap bars. I'm going to offset mine by 5. Use the space bar to reload the linear tool. So here, like you can just see, I've got 504. So when you do this, because you'll get snap elements, you've got to make sure that you are actually on the point, because I think this one here is slightly off the snap point. So sometimes you've got to make sure you're off early on like that, because you can get a misreading by accident if you click on the wrong part. So I always recommend being zoomed in this stage and being really detailed with what you're clicking. Like so. So you can go around, use the linear tool to do all your linears, and then you can come in, you can use the radius tool. So like how I did earlier, you could click on the construction line radius 20, and you can do what I did earlier, something like diameter. Yeah, you could put a diameter in 25. If you have something like I've also done, is I picked up that the R7 there is 6 of. So if you go back to here, on this element here that I put there's 6. So what you could do is on this side, you double click, to load up the text box, because this is just a line with a text box on. Put 6 times, close the text box, and you can modify your drawing accordingly. So that's just a walkthrough on the first exercise. Obviously have a recap and let me know how you get on.